Hey guys, Mark Rodriguez here. With me is
Juppie Chan, also known as Ninja Juppie, or you can call me Wendy. Hi guys!
Yep, and you're watching the review Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed. And today, this is a random thing out of nowhere. We were watching a YouTube video that was kind of a compilation of all the different Sailor Moon intros. We were watching, Sailor Moon R, whatever. And then we got to Sailor Cosmos, and we're like, the fuck is this? What the hell?
And I was like, I remember hearing something about a Sailor Moon something, but I didn't pay no attention to it because I couldn't get into Crystal all that much.
Yeah, so I guess apparently Crystal only went as far as either S or Super S, and then like the rest of it, instead of making episodes, they made this big two-part movie instead. There's another one called Sailor Moon Eternal, but we just jumped on Cosmos. Cosmos is, I guess, the ending, because Cosmos is actually adapting the Sailor Starlight story.
Oh, and yeah, Sailor Stars arc. And I think Sailor Moon Eternal is supposed to be before it, right?
Yeah.
So it's finishing up all the stuff for Supers.
Yeah.
Apparently. So I might take a look at that just to see how they actually adapted it, because we all know how screwed up the original anime did with the adaptation of that. Because,
yeah. Now, I don't know if we can really say spoilers, because it's several years old by now, and people that followed Sailor Moon Crystal back when it was new and stuff. So we're going to kind of just jump in there, guys. So I guess, you have to be kind of up on your Sailor Moon lore as we go into details, but we are going to compare a couple of things from what we remember from the anime, from the manga, and all that kind of stuff. But the first thing I do want to say, that the movie started off right off the bat. If you remember, if you guys seen the Sailor Starlight's anime, because the thing is, I know that in America they never put it because the whole thing with the Sailor Starlight's changing genders and all that, they censored that out and stuff like that. So that one was never adapted until they did like a later couple of years back. They actually made like a more modern, like a newer dub with all new voice actors and way more faithful adaptation. The characters were actually called like Usagi and Minako and stuff like that.
And for me, that's even new because I've never seen anything outside of Deke's dub.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, this is
for me, all my references for Sailor Moon have only been the Japanese version. I've never seen past Deke's dub.
Yeah, to be honest, I do want to get that one day because it is kind of cool. I like the dub; it's original. I got to see as far as I think all of Sailor R and stuff before we just kind of lost track of time or whatever, but it was faithfully adapted. No Mondo cool isms or censorship or whatever, and like I said, if the names were accurate and stuff like that. So
yeah, so let's get into the story.
And the last thing I want to say is that I did get to the reason I brought up this dub, the second dub, is because that was the first time that they released all the box sets. They finally released Sailor Starlights.
Sailor Stars.
Sailor Stars. So it's like the first time for more like American viewers that don't get to, the ones that don't go into the dubs and going into sites to find like the original Japanese, whatever. Before Crunchyroll became a thing and stuff, this was the first time for many American people to see the Sailor Starlights or Sailor Stars thing. Now for me, I was in Mexico. Mexico did show all of them, so we got to see it there. So with all that context out of the way, the first thing I want to say is that similar to the original anime, more or less, the story starts out with Usagi seeing Mamoru off because he was supposed to be visiting America to study abroad.
Yeah, Harvard. They kept that.
Now, the thing is, in the anime version,
the 90s version.
Yeah, the 90s version. When he goes off on the plane and everything, he gets attacked, but it all happens Sailor Moon was not there, So if you think it's a regular flight, you got attacked mid-flight by some mysterious something. I assume they don't reveal Sailor Galaxy until the final episodes. So the whole series goes on with Usagi getting sadder and sadder and thinking that she just, I guess he just forgot about her and stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Even though she was writing to him as much as she could, but she was never getting a reply back.
Yeah.
And that was like depressing for her.
Yeah. So
but she kept it to herself, and the others finally kind of dragged it out of her.
Yeah. So in this one, wow, right in front of her eyes, he gets attacked by Sailor Galaxy and everything, and goddamn. And the Sailor Stars show up, the Starlights, they save her and stuff, but now she has some kind of memory thing where she doesn't remember what happened.
It's like she was trying to suppress it, like she didn't see, like something so traumatized, tried to block it out, and that's pretty much what she was doing.
Yeah, but that was the first thing that got me. I'm like, what the fuck? It didn't happen in front of her. What?
But here's the thing. I read the manga. My problem is that everything is mixed up. I don't remember clearly what happened in the manga. or the anime, exactly. So personally, I like the 90s anime take on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall if that is what happened in the manga.
Mm.
But then the stuff with Chibi makes more sense too.
Yeah,
later on, because so that was how it was in the manga, and I just forgot because I preferred the anime version because I like the idea that once they transformed, they fought Galaxia on the wing of the plane, and then she ended up taking his starseed.
Yeah. So anyways, we get the whole thing where like the latest, boy band group is the Three Lights, and everyone loves them, especially Minako and stuff like that.
Yep. They kept the thing. She's the president of their fan club, and member of the fan club, and all that stuff. And Sagi was a big fan too.
Yeah. Chibiusa went back to her future timeline and stuff and everything.
And of course, the other thing they kept, Hotaru is still, she's still aged up a little. And she was like Hotaru, like Chibiusa's age now, and Setsuna was still like the school nurse, and then Michiru and Haruka, they had to go back to school and all that other stuff. So they kept all of that because we didn't see Eternal. So
so they go to so basically in this is also a movie, and also I believe the manga didn't do that whole Monster of the Week thing, did they? I don't think so. Because that's one of the differences between the, I guess, the manga
because at the time the manga was still running, so they had to do that.
Yeah.
And that's something I kind of, like I said, in my opinion, Sailor Moon are one of those situations where the filler actually kind of works.
Yeah.
Because they could, like
more personality to
the characters. Like for example, for this movie, because it's so fast paced, there's pretty much no personality for anybody.
Yeah, mostly just Minako geeking out was the most personality she got of all of them. We don't get to see much of. I guess Amy got a bit.
And the thing is, that's kind of true too, because she does get jealous when someone does better than her. It's rare that it comes out, but there are situations where it's happened.
Yeah.
Like the that Sailor Mercury special that they did back in the 90s, where Mercurius was doing better than her, and she was like obsessed over it.
So anyways, they go to a concert because apparently Haruka, or at least Michiru, knows them and stuff, so they're going to be performing at a concert and stuff.
Which was also in the 90s anime.
Yep. And while they go there, the first of these evil Sailor Guardian characters, it was Silver Mouse?
Oh,
yeah, Sailor Silver Mouse.
Iron Mouse.
Okay, so Sailor Iron Mouse attacked with a bunch of cute little wind-up mouse things that go over the floor and all that kind of stuff. And what surprises me, but again, number one, it's a movie, and number two, I don't think the manga did that where, she appears in several episodes, each episode with a failed plan, a failed monster, whatever, like Power Ranger type monsters, So here, she gets wiped out right away. And they really fast forward real quick, because Sailor Moon and all them showed up, the Outer Senshis, which Haruka Michiru and them showed up, and then the Sailor Starlights right then and there showed up and just killed, what's-her-face, Iron Mouse, and leave, which of course is the mystery of who are these three new,
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I'm sorry, those three are still here, but the other three left, so you know what, and we have I have a weird sense about them. I think they're the Starlight.
Yeah. Yeah, so then some other people came. I forgot who the second woman was. The second person, she was watery, right? Like the water person.
Gosh, I forgot her name.
Yeah, so she attacked also, and it was dangerous because all area was covered with water, and then they did.
Aluminum Siren.
Yeah, Aluminum Siren.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is that in this particular fight, we got both Mercury and Jupiter, right? They both got wiped out. They both got turned into dust and stuff, and it leaves behind little star seeds for the bad guys to take away. And these bad guys they're basically after all the Sailor soldiers' star seeds one by one.
Yeah, now.
And they give them back to Galaxy, because Galaxy
and
wants
she's
them
still
all.
keeping them in her cauldron, if I remember that part right. She keeps them in her little cauldron, and you gotta go in and. We don't know. I like I said, I need a big refresher here.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure more will be elaborated in part 2 of it. So this is all the first part of the movie and everything. And so eventually with they have all the uneasiness. Do we trust the Sailor Starlights? Do we not? Are they a new enemy too? And all that kind of stuff. Which I remember the anime did do that too. There was a lot of standoffish.
Yeah, because it was just kind of suspicious with them. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the next one to show up was Legcrow. And she ended up attacking Phobos and Deimos.
Yeah, which I don't remember at all.
No, they never did an anime, but it was in the manga.
Did they appear like what? The art part, the super part? When did they appear?
I can't remember, but I know they did have human. They did have human forms.
Oh god! Now they confused me the most was also the cats having human. I remember there was an episode where it happened like but I didn't know they had them like a consistent something.
I mean, it would come up every once in a while, but it was never in the anime, but it was in the manga. I can't tell you where.
I'm going to assume that Crystal showed this with more detail the way it should have, I guess.
Yeah, because I saw also something else they did was they had the asteroid senshi. So the asteroid senshi was the Amazon's quartet because they were like, you know, brainwashed over to Helenia, and they were actually Chibi Usa's guardians, her sailor guardians. So that was something they didn't do in the 90s anime, but it was in the manga.
Yeah, it's almost because we didn't see much of Crystal. I think we only saw a few episodes when it first came out.
I think I only saw like the first 11 or 12 episodes. I was so bored because, like I said, they were adapting it nicely. I liked that, but the stuff they were adapting were all the parts that I found boring in the manga. Because like I said, what I liked about the filler in the 90s anime was that they gave them stuff to do and they had more personality.
Yeah. So later on, unfortunately, both Mars and Venus also get vaporized and they think they're crystals.
Yeah, because that's when Legcrow attacked the Hikawa shrine. And that's when you saw Phobos and Deimos. They took their form because they're from, like, you know, Kronos' planet. Yeah. And they attack them. They get taken. Then they show up. Then Galaxia attacks those two. And they get attacked. And Eternal Sailor Moon shows up and she attacks Legcrow and vaporizes her. Yeah. And there was something interesting even before that fight when they were talking to the three lights and how Mars said, "We don't need men," and all that other stuff. That is so manga accurate. It's crazy. Yeah.
So then the other thing also is that Sailor Moon and then Sailor Moon herself, Usagi, she finally does remember that Mamoru also did die in a similar fashion, turning to dust and stuff, and she knows all these things. She's been getting these like mysterious cards throughout the thing. It's like, you know, every day in the mailbox there's new cards. She thinks it's a card from Mamoru with address or nothing. Weird. And of course it had the airmail thing. Remember, this is still the 90s. She had, you know, the little stripe thing with the airmail because they still, well, that's one thing I will give credit to this movie for. They're still applying it to 90s logic as opposed to modern day logic. So I like that, you know, like we're going to the CD shop and all that other stuff. I'm so glad they kept that. Yeah, we didn't see them all on their phones or whatever. Oh, and something else that's not in the anime that really shows that they're trying to keep it in the 90s. What? No Skytree. I don't know what the Skytree is. Skytree Tower. It doesn't exist. I'm confused by the Skytree. What's the context of that? No, I mean it wouldn't have been built yet in the 90s. Oh, so it's a tower that's popular in Japan or something? No, it's right there. It's in Tokyo. That's what I'm saying. They're showing them a Tokyo Tower, but they're in Azawa's Yuban, so yeah. But what I'm saying is, Tokyo Tower, no references to it, no mentioning of it, and we're not seeing it in the distance because that's how tall it is. Wow. So like I said, only Tokyo Tower. So it's almost like an anime that would have been based on Chicago or something, but since it takes place in the 90s, it's still got the original Sears Tower in there because whatever it's called. Because the other stuff wouldn't have existed yet. Wow, that's interesting. That's Japanese trivia for you guys. And let me see what else. So Sailor Moon or Usagi, whatever, she does like eventually remember everything. It's like, you know, like a suppressed denial type memory, but she does finally remember what happened to Mamoru and everything. And now, unfortunately, I want to say, I know, I'm trying not to, wait, is it Galaxia? Yeah, that's her name, Galaxia. Oh, I didn't know. Because I know that in Mexico they call it Galaxia, but that's how you say Galaxy in Spanish anyway, so I don't, you know. But anyways, so I thought it was like a Mexicanism. I didn't know. Oh no, that's her name. Okay. Galaxia. Okay. So Galaxia does attack Setsuna, even though we don't see it. It's later on we find out that Haruka Bushido also get attacked. So Sailor Moon's all by herself now, not counting the Starlights. And there's kind of a weird, I guess, nightmare type sequence or something where she faces Galaxia, but Galaxia has her hair all out and flowing and stuff. I guess when like her normal look. Yeah. And it's all, you know, because the thing is, they keep saying that it's kind of like implied that, you know, even though their bodies turn to dust, as long as they still have the star seeds, they can turn
They can regain their bodies in some way.
Yeah, so she's all like, haha, do you really think they're gonna regain their bodies? Well, ha ha ha, filling her with doubt and all that kind of stuff. And another thing also that I don't remember in the anime, because it's been so long, they might have skipped it, I don't know. But they also kept that, Chibi Chibi has a little urn type, not an urn, incense type thing. And we find out later that it's like, that's where their princess was, a princess that the Starlights were. I remember that part in anime. I remember that they were singing that song in hopes that the princess would somehow hear it and find them and stuff.
Yeah.
So this princess is there. But I honestly don't remember that character. I mean, you might correct me if I'm wrong, all you diehard Sailor Moon fans, but I don't remember her in the 90s anime.
I don't either.
Because even when they show the intro, she appears in the intro, the intro theme. I'm like, the fuck is that? I don't know.
I don't know. Like I said, the Sailor Stars adaptation for the 90s anime, in my opinion, didn't really make much sense. Even thinking back on it now, the only thing I really liked about it was the music. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And that Galaxia wanted all the star seeds so she could be like, really strong. That's about it, really. But that was weird. But like for this, it's still a bit on the confusing side. Even though I read it years ago, it's like little bits are coming back to me, but not enough where I can like say, now this is definitely how it's supposed to be and all that other stuff. Now Chibi Chibi showing up in the original series, it says she was Galaxia's starseed. Or something.
Which I'm assuming if that's true, it'll probably be the second movie.
But in the manga, I don't remember if that was even still the case. It's just so weird. And I'm sorry. So we'll see what happens with that later. Chibi's like. Yeah,
because I'm sure it's gonna be revealed in part 2 and everything. Yeah. But that's how this one ends. It ends with like Sailor Moon's like resolve that she is gonna go out there and fight them and all that stuff. Fight Sailor Galaxia and get revenge, well, not only get revenge, but get her buddies back and all that kind of stuff with the help of the Starlights, because I think that's the only people she's got left.
Oh, and the last person you didn't mention was Tenyako, because the transfer student. She attached them. Then we get Luna, Artemis, Diana. They went back to their human form.
Which is like, I'm like, what the?
Yeah, you didn't know. But I said I knew.
Well, I remember the one episode where it was kind of a dream thing, like it was like Luna's dream to be human for one day, find out what it's like. I don't remember that, but I don't remember them having human forms they could, I guess, change back into whenever or something. I don't. And tell you, Diana had one too. I'm like, what the?
Yeah. Yep, she did. And then when she showed up trying to, was it? Oh, Diana, I forgot about that. It's just been so long. But I said it's in the manga. Yeah. So it's just so fast paced. They cramming so much stuff in.
Yeah, because it's also a movie. It's not like episodic. So I don't know what happened with that one. I don't know what their decision was to like make it a movie instead of like episodes, and then, I don't know, maybe the
Toei, it's just they're just whatever. Yeah. But I really wish they could have just made this a series and just could actually break stuff down, do some character development, something like that, and I think it would be more enjoyable for me personally. Because the stuff I like about the 90s series, I wasn't getting in Crystal just from the beginning, so I don't know if they fixed that later on. And it was mostly my issue with personalities because they really didn't have much of one.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, they only hinted that.
I'm talking about for Crystal in general because that's what would turn me off from it.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint from a lot of people. They didn't like the art style, which I
I didn't like the art style. Yeah, I mean, it's good for a manga style. For me, it wasn't good for an anime style.
Yeah, and the lack of personalities because there's just aren't episodes or so. Oh, it's a Mina episode. Oh, it's a Minako episode.
Yeah, we just see more of like what she's like.
Yeah.
Like that. And it's just and like I said, at least for the 90s anime. Yes, they had their devotion to Usagi, Sailor Moon, all that stuff, but they had other stuff going on where it's not all about her. Yeah. That was my problem with, that was something adapted from the manga that I did not like for Crystal that I was seeing. It's just,
Yeah. So the last thing we also want to add for, I guess, random trivia is that, I guess, of all the characters in the series, the original voice actress of Sailor Moon, I believe, still reprised her role.
Yeah, but everyone else is different.
Like, different. Now, you said Megumi Tabayashi, I forgot her last name, but she was in it still?
Oh, no, she wasn't in the original. I'm just saying.
No, but I mean, in this one as who? Was she
Galaxia. I can hear it. I would say that's Galaxia.
Oh, but you were saying that you didn't like her,
No, I don't.
It sounds weird. It's just, doesn't sound imposing enough, I guess.
She sounds like because at least with what's her name? What's her name? I can't think. Hirakawa, what's her name? That voiced her in the original. At least she had that demanding sounding I am a villain voice. Here she just sounds like ha 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 I got the crystal. I mean that's how it comes across to me.
No. Oh yeah, the last thing I want to mention too, plot wise, is that whenever Tin Yako attacked and stuff, she actually got away, but she was having some doubt. She was like attacking the cats. I guess she came from the same planet as the cats, because what happens is that Galactus going around destroying planets, and I guess she finds, traitors or whoever that she could use as her minions or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Tin Yako's from the same planet as Artemis,
Luna and Artemis.
and I guess she considered them traitors for whatever reason, but then I guess she was kind of emotionally touched a bit that Sailor Moon jumped in the way to take the blast for them, and then she got away before they could kill her. But either ways, it was all for naught, because once she went back to the bad guy there and stuff, Galactus like, oh, you failed me, die, that kind of thing.
Now this is something I actually prefer in the '90s version, even though this version makes sense with Galactus' character. I like the fact that most of Sailor Moon's attacks were mainly used for healing.
Yeah.
Because she's like the healer of the group.
Mm-hmm.
When she attacked Tin Yako, she have healed her, and she was like a little bit off. It's like she was trying to figure things out. But of course, she ended up dying later, regardless. So she was like her hat. She was like half black, half white thing going on, or whatever it was,
Like her costume, you mean?
Yeah. So I kind of like that in the '90s version, and then that's when they kind of clicked that we can heal.
Yeah.
But of course, we're not gonna see that for this version. And I think they're coming to conclusions a little too fast.
Yeah. Now the last thing also I do want to say, one difference between this and the anime version was in the anime version, everyone was around for most of it. I know in the final battle, to make it more epic and raising the stakes, all the other Senshis were dying one by one, leaving Sailor Moon alone.
Yeah.
But here, right off the bat, they're getting wiped out way early, which makes it, I guess, heavier. Because you know, it's like they get killed, way earlier, so she has that on her heart a lot longer.
Yeah,
as opposed to the final battle where they die and then they come back to life 10 minutes later after the bad guy's defeated, like a dragon.
Now that's something I do like that the movie did, because that was in the manga. 'Cause like I said, while reading that part of the manga, especially when they were doing like they're like in class and the teachers doing the role, and they was like Aino Minako, and then you hear that Usagi, she's like. Yeah, I mean, she didn't do the thing where she's saying, oh, she's on vacation, but she said, what's her name is like self-reflecting, like she knows where they are, and Kino and Makoto, it's like, she's getting more and more sad because she saw them get killed in front of her. Yeah. So.
And that's the thing.
Especially Minako, because like they're like kindred spirits, because they they have similar interests and similar hobbies and all that.
Yeah. So overall, it was a fun movie. Obviously this is a movie, if you've been watching Crystal and also Sailor Moon Eternal and now Cosmos is I guess a big finale because it is the last arc, and it makes more sense if you've seen the scenes. Obviously I don't recommend you just jumping in blindly, you know what I mean? But but a lot of fun. And I mean, I guess the characters and stuff, like there aren't enough character moments, but everything's kind of fast paced because it is a movie, and it's stuff that you would already assume. Like Ami's mad that who was it, Taiki or someone got hired.
Yeah, because that's always been his character. His character's always been like very smart.
But the thing is, like, if you've seen the series, you're like, yep, that's Ami. She don't like it. That's someone smarter than her. But if you're watching,
or if you read the manga or something, say she gets a little jealous here and there. It's rare, but she does show that trait sometimes.
Yeah, but if you watch it like normal, like if you just watch it blindly, you won't catch stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it does make sense if you already are a pre-existing Sailor Moon fan like us and everything and stuff like that. So
okay, so final thoughts. Like I said, it's okay for what it is. For me, it's too fast paced, but it's also a movie, so I gotta view it from that standpoint. I think Tin Yako could have been better designed. I like her design for this. I actually like her. I like her original anime. Anime look a lot better. I mean, let me make her hair like a little, poofier or something.
Yeah.
I mean, look at her. She looked like she don't belong in their world.
Yeah, they do her way too. They over exaggerate the cat features that she looks like they even looked at her and said, yeah, she's a bad guy. Look at her, she's one of them. Like,
she looked off even for this animation standard.
Yeah, she was kind of drawn in a slightly different art style too. That kind of threw everything off.
Yeah. I kind of like the fact they kept with the starlights with the transformation scene. Well, I think the transformation scene.
I don't know about the tap dance.
I think the transformation scene looked kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad they kept it that they were like how it was in the manga. They were not guys that kept switching back and forth between genders. They were just cross dressers. You know, they were hiding their identities and they were just, you know, starlights, yay, makeup, all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, I kind of don't get. That's the thing. Everyone's got their little, transformation sequences. So for whatever reason, in this version, they show their feet and they're kind of little tap dance before they do the pose to transform. And I'm kind of like, yeah, that too. But also, I'm kind of like, why? Because I know they mentioned they dance, but they're not seen dancing. They're seen mostly like singing. They're singers. They were like break dancers, okay, or something. But they're singers. You don't. The tap dancing. It
just looks so silly.
And we're gonna probably see it again in the sequel because they're original. Yeah,
I really, really, really wish they would have kept the original transformation theme from the original because that theme is so epic.
Yeah.
I love that theme.
Yeah.
But they don't have it.
I know.
So and like I said, personality. That's what they had. So, like I said, I miss Yaten I miss Taiki being kind of reserved. I miss Seiya being like the outgoing one, and Yaten being like standoffish. I miss that.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, we'll wrap it up before we go another 10 minutes. It was just kind of good for me also to kind of go through memory lane, try to remember like, I remember this, I don't remember that. What the fuck was that? That kind of thing, comparison. Because I haven't seen Sailor Stars in forever. Because like the early Sailor Moon, they put reruns or we watched the box. I watched the box set with the new dub, stuff like that. But I didn't get far enough to see Sailor Stars the second time. So I literally only saw it just that one time when it aired in Mexico the first time around, way like 2 decades or whatever, however far back that was in our lives and whatever. And that's the thing, that was before YouTube. I mean, maybe if YouTube was around.
Maybe, that was
maybe Johnny and I would have reviewed those episodes or something, but that was right before YouTube was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, that's what's going on. It's pretty good movies, entertaining. Obviously, the only criticism is that it's all crammed in for a movie and stuff like that. And also following the anime, the manga, the original manga, that didn't have that many character moments to begin with anyway, so it's
and also, like I said, Sailor Stars, in my opinion, never really made much sense to begin with. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't. It's just so strange. And like I said, it's just another thing with Takeuchi. It was pretty much, you will be writing some more to this series. Sort of like even after the first series, she was ready to stop. Yeah. Nope, this is popular. You're going to keep writing.
You're making money. You print that money.
Like Toriyama with Dragon Ball.
Yep. So anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up for now. We will be reviewing part 2 eventually. Well, not, soon, so you guys stay tuned for that. We'll give it a couple of days. But for now, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off.
And this is Wendy on the Jupi channel, and it's Jupi. And also, we are sorry that this is so disjointed and random, even with how we're reviewing this.
But so was the movie. And so was the manga. And so was the original 90s anime. So it all fits. So anyways, guys, see you next time for the review Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed, even random anime movies. See you next time.
Bye, guys.